Only because we had a fan ask for it. We're doing Jesse Lee Peterson.
I thought our fans liked us.
It's fortuitous that Felicia is camera off on this one. She had to go do something real quick. She'll be back in a moment after we hopefully get done with this fucking video. Because I can't stand the way this man talks. It just hurts my ears because the loud K, S, and C sounds just really bother me. He should really work on mixing those out. Anyway, here's Jesse Lee Peterson talking about White History Month.
It is White History Month. White History Month. And at our church service yesterday, I brought it up. And there were several people there who thought it was very, very interesting. We had a very good discussion about White History Month. And I have with me Max. Max is an Italian-American man.
Which, if you were to go with the idea of whiteness, like turn-of-the-century America,
he wouldn't be
white, just like the Irish wouldn't be white. Yeah.
So
anyway, but it's kind of funny that he brings this guy on, and just wait, you're gonna like this.
Okay.
And a volunteer who worked with homeless, and he is a new member of the Bond Church. And so yesterday I brought up White History Month, and it was very, very interesting, his response to it. So I asked Max to come on this morning, and let's have a brief discussion about that. Thank you for coming in, man.
Thank you for having me.
I totally, absolutely appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
And so we talked about White History Month yesterday. What's your feeling when you first heard that I had started July as White History Month? What was your first impression about it?
Keep in mind, people, he has a radio show that's syndicated across the nation. Him speaking, he gets paid to speak. His job is words. I just need to bring that up because I can't.
That just boggles my.
They put two pop filters in front of his expensive ass microphone, and they still can't get a lot of the heavy noises out of there. It annoys the fucking hell out of me. Your producer's not doing enough to work on the audio quality of your show.
It blew my mind. It was interesting to see, and I actually showed it to others, and it was shocking. We've never had that before.
Yeah. And why was it shocking?
Because a black man was trying to tell everybody in your church that July should be considered White History Month. I'm pretty sure that's very much unprecedented in a lot of places. Unprecedented as our.
Well, I mean, to be fair, July is apparently National Hot Dog Month and National Ice Cream Month. So
such a white.
That's
month.
Pretty close.
Well, I mean, I guess that can be considered not just white, but like that's summertime stuff. But I don't ever bring hot dogs to any kind of cook-off I have or any kind of like barbecue that we have because that's just be considered rude.
So that's like beyond basic.
I mean, even the kids don't even really enjoy those anymore. I mean, there gets to be the time every once in a while where you need to stop and have a big bite with a big gulp at 7-Eleven every once in a while. But you have it with that shameful look on your face, like, I really know I shouldn't be eating the rolled around hot dog that's been on that griddle for however long it's been there.
Oh no, man, that's a solid
aged.
That's a solid guilty pleasure right there. I'll own my whiteness there.
Man, I'm just gonna let this guy talk some more crap.
We have Black History Month, we have Homosexual History Month. We have Women History Month. We have Japanese and Mexican and Chinese History Month. But whenever white history is discussed, it's always in a negative. It's always a put down.
Yeah.
And it was white folks who built this great nation.
Citation needed there, Jesse.
I mean, I think just maybe there were some people of other colors and ethnicities involved in that.
The railroad would have been built.
And it's entirely possible. It's entirely possible that they did that building without proper compensation.
Oh, just wait, because the guy that he's interviewing is actually pretty much us in this situation. And he's just sitting there. He's trying his best not to be like, come on, Jesse, what? What the fuck are you talking about?
If it wasn't for white people, there would be no American. There would be no POCs here in this country, people of color. And yet, white history is not discussed in a positive way.
Now, just think about that for a second. Without white people, there would be no people of color in this country. Just hang on to that little nugget just for a couple of seconds. Hang
on. Why is that?
I don't think it needs to be discussed. It already is. And if you ask a lot of different types of people from different cultures and races, there's no need for White History Month.
Do you feel that way too?
You know, it's nice to see from another race that they want to celebrate White History Month.
This guy has to tap dance so hard for this. He's like, I don't want to seem like your racist producer, James, but I need to.
You're totally.
Why did I agree to come on this show? It's exactly the regret.
Instant regret right there.
And implement that.
Right.
It's interesting. It kind of shocked me at first, but I don't think that we actually need a White History Month.
Ding, ding,
and
ding,
why
ding,
not?
Ding.
Yay!
You know,
and the wheels are turning in his brain. Sorry, I paused it right there just because he's sitting there with this look on his face like...
You can hear it. You can hear him cranking.
It's like that deep, breathy sigh where he's like, do I really have to spell it out to you, Jesse?
Yes, you do.
You do for Jesse Lee Peterson.
That's a good question. I think just the way the country has been founded and the groundwork and everything that's been put out, it's already embedded into our country. We don't need to, I'm going to be blunt, we don't need to shove it in other people's faces.
What do you mean by shove it in their faces?
Well,
let me show you, Jesse. I'm going to come over there and I'm going to take you and I'm going to put you into forced labor where I don't pay you for it.
We discussed White History Month. White history is a reminder of where we came from. It allows us to...
What? We? Oh, he means the royal we is an American.
Oh, the royal we is American. Yeah, Jim's...
Okay. I was getting worried there for a second. I was like, Jesse, never mind. Because I already get enough shit for that Uncle Ruckus video we put up for him.
To appreciate the country even more so. Why shouldn't we? It's like 4th of July, right? Is a reminder of the birth of the nation. Why shouldn't we be reminded? We are not reminded. The average black person or person of color have no idea about how America came about today.
I'm pretty sure they do. And let's not forget that the 4th of July was white people battling other white people. I mean,
yeah.
For the right to slaughter the brown-skinned people or the red-skinned people, as they say, in this nation. Jesse doesn't really... He's not really a student of history, is he?
I don't think... No. I mean, he's not a student of anything, really. He's just tragically ignorant.
That's about all we could say, really.
Yeah.
I think through history, though, America was founded, to be blunt, on a bed of racism and bringing slaves over and using them to create this nation.
And here is where Jesse takes off the mask and he reveals himself to be Zool. I mean, that's the only thing I can... That's the only thing I could think about when he starts talking about this right here. He's like, oh, really? You're going to bring up slavery? And he's like, Jesse Lee Peterson's like, I gotcha. So just hang on.
In the beginning. And that is from what we learn in class. And
but that's false history, though. They didn't bring slaves over.
Slaves were not brought over to us. Anyway, he's going to say it. I know he's...
Because the Arabs sold slaves. They bought them from other black people in Africa, and they sold the blacks around the world, not just white folks. You just go over there and say, hey, we need to build a country called America. Let's go to Africa and get some black folks and bring them back. Yeah. That didn't happen that way.
It did.
Well,
they didn't say, "Hey, let's get some black people to make America." They just slavers pull up into the bay and they're like, "Hey, we have some slaves for you to use if you wish to purchase them." You know?
Right. It was, "Hey, we need labor, and for this labor, we are going to choose to use people that we do not view as people or human."
Telling us that history's wrong.
No shit. God damn it.
Me, man. Yeah, I'm not going to let it talk much more. Not it. Sorry. I'm not going to let Jesse talk so much more. The video meaning it. But, Jesus, man.
Well, that's what we've been taught.
See, that's the problem. And that's why white Americans are afraid to talk about white history, because they've been lied to about how all this came about.
The point being, Jesse, is that slaves did end up here in America.
Yeah.
Regardless of where the port of, where they came from.
Doesn't necessarily matter where they came from. Doesn't necessarily matter
why they came from there.
Who sold them to the guy with the boat.
Yes, they were wrong in that case as well.
Well, yeah.
However,
they were wrong too.
Nobody forced the plantation owners in the South to buy them as if they were cattle,
Yeah.
So they're just as morally culpable as everybody else in that chain of things. It's not one of those things where you're like, well, I bought the bananas, I might as well use the bananas because otherwise they're just going to turn dark on me, and then next thing I know, I have to make banana bread out of everything.
And nobody likes that much banana bread.
No. And the slaves, like, if you didn't buy them, they weren't just if you bought them, you weren't just going to not use them. But at the same time, you're not, if you need a cheap source of labor, you have two choices back then: slavery or actually paying people to do work on your farm or your plantation, wherever the fuck you are. And let me tell you who was out winning every fucking time when it came to making money back then, because people like to remind us all the goddamn time this is a capitalist nation.
It was the people who own slaves. And just in case somebody wants to be pedantic, not all people who were technically slaves were black. Yes,
man,
there were
black slaveholders as well. So there were indentured servants of multiple races, but that there was a big difference between them and the Africans, because the indentured servants technically only had to work off their debt or whatever they were indentured to. Exactly.
They were not lifelong property.
And the children that come from them, and everybody else in perpetuity, and just, good God, Jesse, really? We don't need a White History Month. We have all the other ones.
We have all the other ones. We don't need it. Let's focus on the hot dogs, okay? Just leave July alone.
Oh wait, we can't actually say that because thanks to the DNC emails, we can't even admit that we like hot dogs anymore. Because apparently we're Pizzagators now, and QAnon is going to be like, oh, let me debunk these people.
They like hot dogs. That's code for dick. Well, I mean, you're not wrong, but
adult.